Well, it is day 70. It's the final day of Fitin10. It really didn't seem like that long ago. I said, before you know it, the challenge will be done. Of course, I said this just at the beginning of the challenge. And here we are. Now, some of you aren't going to do your scan until Sunday, so you can keep going. Some of you have your scan tomorrow. Some of you have already done your scan because you had to do it early because you were going away. And I want to say to all of you, congratulations on just even attempting the challenge, to go through it and to stick with it and to do your best. As I've said to many people in the past, this is my comfort zone. This is very easy for me. I've been doing much of what you're doing, or all of what you're doing, for the past 24 years, I guess, really, like everything that you're doing. So to some degree or another, sometimes I was doing more cardio, sometimes I've been doing less, but essentially measuring, weighing food, and training with weights, which, by the way, I went through part of your exit strategy yesterday. And so I want to touch upon that again. Of course, I didn't get through everything. So let me just reiterate some of the things I want you to do. I really want you to continue getting in 3 half-an-hour sessions of cardio per week. And this can be anything. And it can be of any intensity. Well, not any intensity, but I would like you to try to get your heart rate up to at least 60 or 65% of its maximum capacity. So if you take, as I mentioned yesterday, 220 minus your age times 0.65, that will give you the minimum heart rate I'd like you to get to. Now, that's not to say that if you go for a power walk one day that's not going to count as anything. But ultimately, get in 3 sessions that's going to elevate your heart rate to a reasonably much higher level than what your resting heart rate is. And do that 3 times a week. It would be really good if you could do some days very hard and some days easy. When it comes to your footsteps, and I actually can't remember if I mentioned this yesterday or not, I'm going to ask you to try to get 55,000 footsteps per week. This is around 7,500 footsteps per day, which is not really hard to do. When I teach 2 classes back to back, and I'm walking around, I typically get about 3,000 steps just teaching class. And I am moving pretty much the whole time in the class. It's really not hard when you consider everything throughout the day. Now, if you're seated and you spend the majority of your day seated, I'm going to highly recommend that you get up every couple hours and go for a 10-minute walk. It'd be actually really good for you to do a 10-minute walk post-eating. So get up, eat a meal, and then go for a 10-minute walk. In that 10 minutes, you should get about 1,000 steps. This is also really good for clearing your mind, getting some fresh air. Hopefully you'll be doing this outside. Getting some sunlight. This is very, very important for your health. Not just your physical health, your mental health. It's even good for your sleep, by the way. It's good for maintaining your sleep-wake cycles. So I'm going to highly recommend that. Also, I want you to train with weights. Highly recommend that you train with weights 3 times per week. Now, if you can stick around and do it with us, that's awesome. If you can't, because I know some of you did our challenge and you're quite a ways away, some of you more than an hour away, find a gym where you can lift some free weights. Avoid machines for the most part. I'm going to really encourage you to lift free weights. There's just a lot more proprioception that happens. There's a lot more bang for your buck that you're going to get out of lifting free weights as opposed to machines. Machines aren't bad, especially if you're limited or you're very old or you're new. But I'm going to highly recommend that you keep doing the free weight, all the free weight movements. You're going to continue to get our workouts every day. So if you could do those on your own, or even better with us, then I'm going to highly recommend that. Okay, 3 days per week. Okay, for about 45 minutes to an hour. Now, when it comes to nutrition, which I didn't talk about yesterday, you're basically going to fall into one of 2 groups. Group A and Group B. So Group A, you lost 18% or more of your fat mass, and Group B, you lost 18% you lost less than 18% of your fat mass. And this is not a pass or a fail thing. It is what it is. Just take it for what it is and follow the path going forward, depending on which group you fall into. So if you fall into group A, that is, you lost 18% or more of your fat mass, I'm gonna get you to undo your calories every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you're going to take one of the weeks that I gave you. So for example, in the beginning, you'll take your week 10 calories, you'll follow those for 2 weeks. Then you'll do your your macros. Then you'll do your week 9 macros, follow that for 2 weeks, and you'll keep going. So you've got a total of 20 weeks. Exit strategy. Now, if you gain weight through this, which is possible, this is not necessarily a bad thing per se. You shouldn't really gain any weight, to be honest with you, because you're in a deficit to begin with. Now, some of that deficit is created, some of that caloric need is created just from having the body fat, which you lost. So your metabolic rate could be a little bit less because you lost fat, you lost some mass. But generally speaking, you should be okay. A lot of you will continue to lose body fat even just following that. If you follow it and you start to gain weight and you're worried, you can contact me and I'll help you. But make sure, because I've had people do this before, make sure the first thing you ask yourself is, are you actually following what you're doing? And the way to know this is to go back and look through your history in your eating journal. Okay, go back and look through your history of your working out. Okay, we want to make sure that we're consistent. If you're very inconsistent, if you're missing days where you're logging, this is what we have to tackle first. And if you're missing days, then chances are your calories are, with certainty, your calories are not where they're supposed to be. Group B, if you lost less than 18%, then what you're going to do is you're going to take your week 5 calories and you're going to continue to progress through to week 10. And you're going to follow these for 3 weeks at a time. So you'll follow your week 5, I keep saying calories, but I mean macros. You're gonna follow your week 5 macros for 3 weeks, then your week 6 macros for 3 weeks, and then your week 7 macros for 3 weeks, and keep going. So you've got 18 weeks there. You've got 6 periods, in fact, right? 5 to 10, you've got 6 actual periods. So you've got 18 weeks total. And you're gonna keep following that. So your macros are actually going to be, your overall energy intake is gonna continue to go down. Okay, you're gonna get this in an email, so don't worry if you don't remember this, but I wanted to just give you a brief little outline of that. Now, if you don't want to follow anything, okay, I've talked about this in your exit strategy as well. Please try to pay attention to what you're eating, and I'm gonna highly recommend that you get a protein strong food every time you eat. In addition to this, I want you to try to eat the majority of your diet, at least 80% of it, coming from real whole food. Fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy, this type of thing. Okay, real whole food or very, very close to real whole food. Try to stay away from pre-packaged stuff. As I mentioned, it takes a lot of courage to do this, so kudos to you for taking on this challenge. Really, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. This challenge requires a lot of diligence, and for a lot of you, it's a huge step away from your regular lifestyle. This is not easy to do. So hopefully you've set some good standards for yourself, and hopefully you're going to try to continue to go through with these types of principles, the exercise, so the cardiovascular work. Okay, again, keeping in some cardiovascular work, doesn't have to be the intervals. Okay, just some level, swimming, cycling, running, this type of thing. Keeping in the 3 days of weight training, heavy weights, and of course, following or at least being aware of what you're eating on a daily basis. I still have people who've done my challenge from years ago and they're still putting in their food in their journal. So it's very possible and people do it. Of course, I can't expect you all to do it. You're all wired a little bit differently and you come from different backgrounds. I want to get to the message of the day here. And it's going to be another one of my favorites because I don't want to ramble too much through this video. Probably my favorite message, which is why I put it at the end here, and it goes like this. Don't forget, you can start late, you can start over, You can be unsure, you can act differently, you can try and fail, and 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 you can keep trying and failing. And after all of that, you can still succeed. You can still succeed. Your past does not dictate your future. Your past does not dictate your future. In fact, in my eyes, the more failures you encounter, the closer you're going to get to success. It's those who do not give up, that keep trying, that eventually, for lack of better words, win. That is, they get what they want. They keep trying. They fall and they fall and they fall, but inevitably they get it. And this is just life. This is something that I struggle with, still struggle with, and it's a constant reminder for myself. So I'll say it one more time. Don't forget, you can start late, you can start over, you can be unsure, you can act differently, you can try and fail and try and fail and try and fail and try and fail, and you can still succeed after all that. In fact, you will succeed if you keep trying. Stay in touch, please, and I will see you all for your scan if I haven't seen you, and I wish you all the best. And if you need any help, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to sit down with you anytime, free of charge. If you just need some guidance and some help, I'm happy to do that. And until next time, maybe you'll do another challenge. We've had people in this challenge do previous ones. Maybe I'll see you in the future. Until then, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, and for the love of God, give some gratitude. And hopefully I will talk to you all soon. See you guys.